Hello everyone, this is Robert Bontrager, or Jammer as known in the message boards, and I want to go over, finally, to show off the NOMAD Mark II. And this has been a long work in progress. The Mark I came out last year, took it to Tag Fest, and it had a lot of issues with it. It wasn't quite ready for prime time. Worked on it more, real intensely over the last couple of months, and the Mark II is really nearing completion quickly as far as the software. We still got some other issues to figure out as far as the PCB board and the new case. This is the case from the Mark I. The Mark II case, right now, we're thinking is going to be like this. And this is, let me just show how this works here. This is a rubberized boot. I'll back out so you can see this. This is a rubberized boot that comes off that you could take out the NOMAD Mark II, and it's going to be a lot thinner than the Mark I. So it'll fit easier in your hand. Just a nice, better feel to it as well. And it has this nice ruggedized boot that you could put on, so if you're out in the field, if you drop it, it helps protect it a little bit. And what's nice about this, on the back, it has this belt clip. So you could put this on your belt if you're going out in the field, keep your hands free, put it on your belt. Or if you're putting it on a table, it also comes as a kickstand. So you can put it there, and that can help you as well. So awesome, cool new features with the design. Dustin and I are really happy with this, and much thanks to Dustin Westaby. He has been really helpful and just amazing as far as helping me figure out the electronics, the case design, the PCB, helping me with software ideas when I get stuck. So this could not be a reality without Dustin. So thank you so much, Dustin Westaby. He gets a lot of credit for the NOMAD. But yeah, let me show you how the NOMAD II works. And right now, this is the home screen here. The wheel here, as you can see, let me zoom in on the wheel. Just as in the Mark I, it's a multifunction wheel. It has up and down, left and right. And then it has this jog wheel that you can rotate. So if you need to change the numerical value, you can just turn this. Has a nice clicky feel to it, so you know exactly when you're incrementing values. And then it has a middle enter button. So this does a lot in a nice small space. So this is how you navigate. Now going up to the screen here, when you first turn on the unit, this is what you'll see. And the top row, NOMAD, this shows your software version. Then the host shows an ID number of what the host is. This is an advanced feature I won't go into right now. I'll come back to it later. Generally, you just leave that alone. Then the backlight, and then the mode. LTTO, another advanced mode there I'll go into later. But right now, when you first turn it on, the first thing that's highlighted is the backlight. So if you're in a dark area and you want to highlight that, just turn that up. And as with the Mark I, we don't stop at 10. We go all the way up to 11. Cool. All right, so with the navigation buttons here, just to let you know how this works generally, up and down is how you highlight the menus that are on the screen here. Okay, left and right will take you to a new menu. So if I press right, it takes me to a new menu, and so forth. I go left and I go back. So that's how you basically get around. And if you want to change the value, you just rotate the encoder wheel. Pretty basic, pretty straightforward. So I'm going to focus more on the screen here. So this is the main screen. I go to the second screen, and this is where we can start changing the different attributes of our game. The default settings is what you see here. We could change team, solo. We can force a player to be on team 1. We could force a player to be on team 2. We could force a player to be on team 3. or we can have the user tell us what team they want to be on. So if they want to be on a specific team, whatever they want to be, they can be on. Or we can randomize our teams and so forth. And then if you scroll again, it goes back to solo. Now one thing you might notice is the player, if I go down one more, the player number is attached to the team. So if I were to go up here, see how the player changes accordingly to whatever is selected here. So if I say team 1 and I want to put someone in specifically on player 7, and then I go back and I select, okay, team 2, it's going to remember, oh, team 1, I had it last was on player 7. So it remembers what you had last. It doesn't forget. So you can be really specific when you join in people. You can put someone on team 1 in a specific player slot if you want to. So you could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you can go to recycle. And what recycle does is once it gets to 8, it will just recycle and just go back to 1 again. And what this does is this allows you to have more than 8 players on a team. This takes advantage of well, Brian Farley, who makes the guns, doesn't like to call it a bug, but it's something that if 2 players on the same team have the same player ID number, if there are 2 player 1s on team 1s, then they'll act as separate players. Okay? However, LTARs act a little bit differently. If you have 2 LTARs that are on the same team with the same player ID, then they can take hits from each other as if team tags were off or were on. So my way to sort of make the most out of this is if you have any LTARs in here, if we just keep recycling the numbers, then the chances of an LTAR finding another player with the same player ID is much less if we recycle the numbers here. So it goes to 8, after 8 goes back to 1, it just keeps recycling. So you have virtually unlimited numbers you can put on team 1. Okay? After recycle, we then come back to 1. Yeah, so we can go back and forth through that. Okay, so I'm going to leave it on recycle right now. The next is tags. Again, tags, we can scroll down through here. If we go up, we can go all the way down to 1. Or if we go hot up to 99, go up 1 more, random. We can set a random number of tags. And right now it's set to a person will get a random number of tags anywhere from 1 to 99 tags. Now that seemed like a wide range, but there's a way in here that you can customize the range on this. Let's say you want to give people a range between 30 and 40 tags, or 50 and 99 tags, or whatever it is you want to do. You can set it to random. Whatever random ranges you set, that's what that's going to be. And if you go up 1 more, then you're back to 1. So this completely loops back around either direction here. So if you're at 99, say, oh gee, I want it to be 30, just go back up like that, and there's 30. So I'm going to put it back to 99 because that's what I normally play with. Next is shield, same thing. 30 seconds of shield is the default I have. We can go up to 99. You can go down to 0, no shields, or random. You can put a random number of shields in. And again, you can control the ranges of this. Right now it's set to 0 to 99, but you can control the ranges of that. Ammo, right now it's set to unlimited. But again, you can also do random or how many clips you want. And there's 10 shots in a clip. So we'll go to unlimited because that's what we usually play with as well. Okay, now you'll notice here at the bottom I have this game and 1. What this is on every screen, virtually every screen. If I go over to the next screen over, I have more settings that I can pick. But this game down here is as well is here on all the screens. So let me just go over what this does as well. So if I come down in here, if I get the settings I like, I just come over here to game, and now I could save this. I could save this in as game 1. If I to save it, just press the middle button, and it's saving it, and now it's saved in game 1. If I go over one more, this is game 1. I can load in a different game. I can go to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And how many does this have? This has 24. 24 slots. And you can see how right now they're all set to the default, but it remembered what I had in game number 1 because I saved it. And I go up and I can change different attributes. Okay, we're going over. By the way, if you hear a lot of noise and banging, metallic noise, I don't know if this is coming through on the microphone right now. It's really windy here. Living in Southern California, we get these nasty Santa Ana winds, and that's what we're having outside right now. Anyways, here's the next screen, so we can pick mega tags. Again, random, unlimited, or a specific number, or off. And mega tags is a feature only that deluxes, and I think LTARs too can do mega tags as well, if I'm not mistaken. Team tags, you can have off, random, or on. So you can have team tags on, off, or random, meaning, you know, I don't know if you're going to get team tags on or off. You can make things really interesting and say, you know, you might get team tags on, you might get them off. That'd make for a really interesting game. Same with the slow tags, off, on, or random. Neutralize, off. Now if you turn neutralize on, you get the respawn. How do you want to get back into the game? Neutralize means if you get hit, in this instance, one tag, your gun is not out, it's just neutralized, it won't fire anymore. Or after 10 tags, you're neutralized. Or random. Okay, so you can specific random. Turn it off, 1 tag, 10 tags, or random. So if you get hit with 10 tags, you're neutralized. How do you get back in? Well, in this case, after 15 seconds or after receiving a special signal. If you get a signal, then you're back in the game. And the signal is either from, typically it's from a drone, a IRT-2X, I believe is what it's called. Or there's some medic remotes out there that has the respawn signal. But this respawn signal is something that's used again. It's a special signal that triggers your gun to do special things. And I'm going to be coming back to this idea of this special signal. So the special signal can respawn a gun in the game once he's been neutralized. And I can turn that off. If I go to the next screen, now I got something that's called supply remote. And this is an advanced feature. I'm going to go over about this later. Essentially what this will allow you to do is to add heals to a gun in the middle of the game. And right now this is off, okay? And yes or no. Go over one more. We now come to our hosting screen, okay? So right now it says game time is none. The default on this is actually 99 minutes. So you can control the amount of time that you want your game to last. You know, as many minutes as you want, up to 99. If you go to none, it's not really none, it's still 99 minutes, but what you're telling the Nomad is, I don't care about the time. I really don't care. Don't worry about another advanced feature I'm going to go over in just a little bit here. But for right now, none just means I don't care about the time. And the reason why it says none instead of I don't care is because I couldn't fit I don't care in that little spot. So I put none there. And again, it goes 1. Now you notice too that the it says 99 minutes 10 seconds. Well, that's taken into account to our countdown. How much countdown time do you want to give the person to get in the game? Once they get the countdown signal, how much time? So you can come all the way down to as low as 4 seconds. 4 seconds I found is a nice reliable time for people to get the countdown signal, or as high as 59 seconds. So you can see right now the most we can have is 99 minutes 59 seconds. The timer can go theoretically all the way up to, like, I think a 90-second countdown if you want to. But for the NOMAD, we're only going up to 59 seconds here. And I think 59 is plenty amount of time. Okay, so now we come down here. We've got group host, we've got quick host, and we got send countdown. And I'll go over here how those work. Basically, group host is when you just want to get a group of laser tag guns in. You can click on this. Just when you're ready to go, just press this middle button. And we're now in the hosting stage where the gun is hosting. And it shows the current game time, and it shows what we're doing. We're hosting team 1, player 1. And if you want to get out of this screen, just press the middle button, and it takes you back to here. And so next we have quick host. So I click this. The screen's going to look identical to the hosting screen. The only difference is once it gets a gun in, it immediately goes into countdown. It sends a countdown signal. And then once that countdown is done, it then comes back to this screen. So the quick host is a way to get players back into the game quickly. Press this, get us out, and then send countdown. If you press send countdown, right now we're set to a 10-second countdown. I could send a send, let's say I've got a bunch of guns in here already. Send countdown, now it's sending a countdown. And the guns will get into the game. So if I had any guns currently in, they will get in. And so now you can see this game is running. Game 1 is now running. And obviously you can tell because it's flashing. And it gives you the current time of the game. Well, let's say I want to get another player into the game. Well, I just come up here to quick host, and I click. Now notice it says 37, 36. I press quick host, and I get another player in. And let me see if I can do this here. Whoop, kick the camera. Okay, I've rearranged the camera here, so I want to show you now what happens if you have a gun that you want to get in a game that's already in progress. So let's zoom in on the screen here so you can see what's going on. And so I'm going to go into, turn my tagger, go into quick host, and now we're going to get into this game. So it sends the countdown, the seconds left of the countdown, it sends what's left of the game. So once the game is running, you cannot select the countdown seconds. It uses the seconds that's left in the game as the countdown signal. So that's how you can keep all the guns in sync. And if I press this middle button again to get out of this, and I'm still hosting, so let's press this again. You can see how our time is 16 seconds left in the game time, and once that hits exactly 91 seconds or 91 minutes, it's going to be in the game.
Good luck.
And the reason why it said good luck 2 seconds before 91 minutes 00 is because it takes time for it to say good luck. It takes about 2 seconds. So it says good luck a little bit before. So anyways, this gun is now in sync with the game clock. You can get any number of players in now, and they'll be in sync with the official game clock as well. Now, we currently have a game running. Game 1 is running. Well, let's say while this game is running, I want to set up a new game. So I come over here, game 1, let's go to game 2. Oh, game 2 is not running. Well, let's go up and change our attributes for game 2. Let's make game 2 all these different attributes. Maybe it says solo game. We want to put person on team 3. We want to, we can change whatever attributes we want on here. And then we can get people in. And if we send a countdown, this game is now running. Game 2 is now running, as you can see here. Well, how's game 1? What happened in game 1? Well, let's see. Let's go back to game 1. Let's come over here. And what's game 1 doing? Let's scroll back. Oh, look, game 1 has 89 minutes left, and game 2 has 98 minutes. So you could run, theoretically, 24 different games at the same time. I don't know if you would want to do that, but you have the capability of doing that. Or if you have different settings for different games, you can load that into different attributes as well. So we got 2 games running here. Now you can, if you have one game running, let's say game 2 is running right now, and let's say I set attributes all for team 1, and I got them in the game. I say, okay, go hide somewhere, go to your starting location. Then I go to a different team, and then I set their attributes. And while the game is running, what I would do is I just still stay in the same game 2, but I'll just do a group host, get everyone in, and then I would do the send countdown, and the send countdown would match, would be enough to keep everyone in sync. So that's how that works. All right, so we got these games in. How do we end the games? Well, we go to our next screen. Our next screen has a bunch of utilities in it. End game is the first one. So we want to end this game. Currently we're on game 2. So let's end game 2. If I go to game 2, I press end game, press the middle button, boom, ending game. What this is doing, I don't know if you could see this or not. Yeah, you can see that. It's sending the end game signal. So anyone that's in would get a end game here. This gun here, now watch this, this is interesting. This gun here got in game 1, but he's not getting out. I'm sending an end game signal, but he's not receiving it. That's because he was in game 1, but this was set to game 2. All right. So I'm going to exit this. The reason for that is here is the host ID number. Game 2 has a different host ID number. If I go back to game 1, the host ID is 1. If I go to game 2, host ID is 2, and so forth. So if that's why this other gun can't get out. Now if I go back to game 1, my host ID is now going to match the game that gun is in. So I come back here in game, and let's see if this gun gets out, or gets, press this.
Game over.
Game over. Hopefully you heard that. So he's now got the end game signal. Okay, that's the end game. I want to now go over some of the other advanced features here that you could do. The next one is the sniffer. Now I had this in the Mark I. Basically what sniffer does is, I do a lot of mobile laser tag games with kids. And when I do hosted games with them, kids typically get smart enough to know where they can, if they turn off their gun and back on, they think they're back in the game, but they're not. They just lost the hosted game definitions and they're playing L tag or team tag, and they're not really shooting anybody, nobody's shooting them. So other than hearing the countdown across the field, I have no real way of knowing when a kid resets his gun and is in a different mode. So this is what sniffer is for. So I put on sniffer, and what it does is it listens for laser tag or tag signatures. And let's demonstrate this right now. I've got a LTX here. I'm going to turn it on.
Team 2.
Team 2. We're just going to get into a Team 2 team tag game here. It's non-hosted. And so let's see if this can
Good luck.
see that here. So sniffing, I'm going to shoot this. Team tag player 2. So if I'm out in the field and I see somebody, if I see this on my screen, I know, oh, somebody has turned their gun off and back on again, and they're in the wrong game. So this is what this is for. It's a nice, useful feature when running games with kids. And if you see someone who is cheating, this is a way to figure out who's cheating, who's trying to break the rules, and you can find that person and kick them out, which is a lot of fun. So that's what sniffing is about. Simple. Just press enter to exit. Okay, now we got some others here. I'm not going to go over these in order. Let's go down to random ranges. As you might expect, this is where you can change the ranges of a lot of the random settings that you can do in here. So we go in here, just press the middle button. Now we can do the random values of team, tags, shield, ammo, or mega. So if you're on team and you want to change the value here, you just go to, let's see if I can get this a little more focused there. Here we go, a little better. So just turn the wheel and you can do go 1, 2, or 3 is random, or you can only select between 1 and 2, or 2 and 3, or 1 and 3. Whichever teams you want to have random, you can select this here. And then if I come to tags, I can select the low end value, okay, and the high end value. Right now it's the default is 99, but I've played with this a little bit. But you can go anywhere you want in here, and it's smart enough to know what are valid ranges. So if I go up to 99 and go up one more, boom, it knows 21 is the next valid range, and so forth. And same on this side. If I go 20 and I go up one more, or 25, it knows it goes down to 1 and stuff. So it knows what the valid ranges are. You can't input an invalid range on these. It will automatically. So you can set the ranges you want. If you are doing random, you can pick random tags, shields, ammos, and megas here. And it will remember this for the game slot. So let's say you have the set exactly how you want it. Press exit, and then if you come over here to game and you save it, save. Okay, we're saving that now. Now it will remember it. So for example, let's come over here to game 2. Let's go to game 24 or some other weird name, game 15. And let's go on up here to our random ranges, and these are all the default random ranges right here. Now if I exit this and let's go back to game 1, okay, go into random ranges, and it remembered what the ranges are for that game. So you can have it specific for that game, and each slot can have its own set of ranges. Okay, the next feature that we're going to talk about is the supply remote. We're going to talk about the supply remote. Now remember when I said back here that the when you go to neutralize, and I turn it on, I can respawn or get the person back in the game or unneutralize him or respawn him back with a signal. So there's a special signal that the laser tag guns can look for to cause certain things to happen. And one of these things that can happen is to cause a person to get back in the game. So if I have this on, whoa, kick the camera. Getting excited here. So respawn. So if I come over here and go to supply remote, go into there. Now this supply remote acts as a respawn signal. So anyone who's neutralized this respawn, I press this, and that person is now respawned back into the game. Whenever I press this button, it's sending that signal. And this supply remote is designed so that you can't get out of it. Once you're in it, you're locked in it. It's designed so that you can give it to a player. It could be used as an in-game device, and they can't get out of it and change different things or whatever. They're locked into this supply remote. Okay. However, there is for those who will own one of these, there's a secret way to get out of that. And okay, so now we're back to our menu here. But the supply remote does more, that signal does more than just unneutralize people. Another thing that it can do is on this page here, supply remote, and you can add heals. You can select yes or no, and what this is going to do is any gun that gets a game definition, gets into a game with add heals to yes, means that when they get that special signal, they will get added health. Their health will get added 1 point. And you can set the rate on how fast that happens. It could be once a second, once every 5 seconds, once every 10 seconds, or once every 15 seconds. All right, so let's demonstrate that. I'm going to demonstrate that with 5 seconds. And this is approximate. This isn't exactly 5 seconds on the nose. It's approximate here. So I'm going to demonstrate right now. So I'm going to quickly get a couple of guns in with these attributes and then show you how that works. Okay, I've got 2 guns in here in a game. They are set to 8 tags and they're out. So you can see 8 is the maximum. And so they're both in. This is a solo game. And I've set this to heal them. So let's just watch what happens here. So he's going to take some hits, and you can see there his hit indicator go down.
Low life. Low life. Low life.
So he's got 1 hit left. 1 hit left, and he's out. So let's heal him. And I'll show you how this works. So hopefully I can rig this so you can see how everything's working here. Okay, so he's got 1 life left. Okay, and this is set to heal him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into our supply remote, and it's set to one heal 1 health every 5 seconds. So we'll go in the supply remote. Okay, so now this is in here. And we're going to green my neck to the camera so you can make sure you can see all this. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to fire this in here. So about 5 seconds he'll get 1 health. And you can watch it here. So if it's blinking, that means he has 1. If it's solid, he has 2. And so forth. So as long as I'm holding this button down, he's getting healed at the rate of about 1 every 5 seconds. Okay, so he's got 5 health back in the game. Okay, so the idea is you would give this to someone who's a medic or whatever role you want, and then they can get people's health back up. You can set the rate on that. Let's change the rate. I'm going to get out of this, and now I'm going to change the rate here to, instead of 1 every 5 seconds, let's change this to 1 every 1 second. And let's go into supply remote. We're going to go into that. Now it's going to be 1 every second here. And that's it. He's done. You can't get any more. He's at full health. So he's maxed out. So that's what this can do. This can heal players or give people extra health. It can also respawn players, or it can do both. If you have someone within game definition and you have respawn on and you have heals on, anytime he gets that signal, he's going to get in and he's going to get health. So whatever you have this on when you join a player in, that's how they're going to treat that signal. Okay, so that's how that works. And again, you can go at a rate of every 15 seconds. Let's try this here. Get him out a couple more times. Okay, so we're going to do 15 seconds. Let's see if we have the patience for 15 seconds. Oops. Let's get back into our supply remote here. There we go. So once every 15 seconds. And what it's doing, it's just basically sending this signal at a much slower rate. And after about 15 seconds, he'll get in. There you go. I think that was about 15 seconds. And so he's in. So that can really kind of limit the advantage of having something like this. Maybe you can, the game is you could have just one of these out in the fields and or two or something like that. So, okay, so that's the supply remote feature. Let's now go and talk about the hijacked host feature. Now let's say you have another device that is getting in guns, that's hosting games. You have an LTHQ, you have one of the new laser swarms, or you have an LTTO deluxe or drone. And I happen to have one right here. Okay, and what hijack host can do is you can go into the menu here and you have a couple options. You can steal a game, you can steal the countdown, or you can steal both. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to set this up, and let's see here. So keep bumping this tripod. So go into a game, and we'll go to host, and we'll just do a simple custom, 10 minutes, unlimited reloads, 10 mega tags, 15 shields, 10 tags, and you're out. And now we're in. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to steal this game here. So I'm going to go in here. There we go, game captured. Okay. So now let's see if indeed we have that. Let's go to exit. And we have solo, player 1, 10 tags, 15 seconds shield, unlimited ammo, 10 mega tags, everything else is off. And 30-second countdown, 10-minute game. So we captured all of the game definitions that we wanted here. So now, let's go and steal the countdown too. So I'm going to grab an LTX here. And I'm just going to get this guy in. Okay, so this sent out hosting information. This LTX got it. So now let's go to steal countdown. We're going to steal this countdown here. So I'm going to get this going. There we go. So now we got the countdown. So what's going to happen now is the NOMAD's game clock is going to be in sync with this one. So let's exit out of here. And let's go on down. And let's go back to, you can see our game is running. Now there's a 2-second there at the beginning because there's about I allow for 2 seconds for this to say good luck. That takes about 2 seconds. So I offset this by 2 seconds so that we can make sure we're in sync here. And you can see it's off maybe by about a second. That's typical for the games when we're sending and receiving the infrared signal. But you can see we're now in sync with the two things. Now that this has the official game clock and the information, we can go in and do all of the fun, crazy stuff as before, as if this hosted it. We can go in and if there's a player that didn't get the countdown, we could resend the countdown, or we can get another player in and say, you know what, you need a little bit extra help. You're a young player, you need a little extra help. I'm going to give you 20 tags. Or you're the birthday boy, I'm going to give you 20 tags. And if you're doing a kid game, or you can come over here and just turn some of these settings as you want it. And then you can go ahead and, or you can even turn medic mode if you want on. You can do that. And then you can do a quick host to get one player in, and it will be in sync with the game clock when you do it. So that's how Hijack Host works. It allows you to have the advanced features of the NOMAD and be in sync with a game that the LTTO or LTHQ or anything else would host. And so we're in complete sync with the game clock here. And one other thing here is, notice when I go to here, the host ID number is now, it says 14. That changed. That's because when you host a game on LTTO or anything, the host ID is normally a random number between 0 and 255. And this is expressed as a hex value. So you see like the highest it goes is FF and stuff like that. So I can come in here, I can change this if I want to. And this is expressed as a hex number, so I can change this to whatever number I want. Okay, we'll leave it back at 14. But this is the host ID from the gun that's actually hosting it. Normally you don't see this, but I put it here in case you want to change it and so forth. Now when you run a game, the default is that the host ID is the same as the game number. So see how 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and the A, because we're expressing this as hex value, B, C, D, E, F, and then it goes to 1. So 16 is 1 and so forth. So this is expressed as, so I'm cramming 256 values into 2 digits is basically what I'm doing here. And so forth. But if we go to game 5, you see how it stays in 14. Okay. So that's what that's for. That's why the host ID is listed there, so you can see what that is and if you need to make any changes. Now if let's say I come up here and I change this to 13 or some other value besides 14, because the game was set at 14. If I come over here and I click on end game, and I say end game in this game, but I add the wrong number, it's not going to end the game. But let's go in and change it to what that originally was. Let's go to 14, because that's the game ID or the host ID. Now, if we come over to end game, game over, because it knows that that's was the game ID. So that's what Hijack Host works. Hijack Host basically gets the hosting information from another setting and from another device, LTHQ or LTTO gear or the Laser Swarm, and it will then read the values into the NOMAD, and then if you need to do any fancy hosting gymnastics, you can do so with the NOMAD. Next is last actually is the infector. I haven't gone over the infector yet. Okay, what the infector does is it takes the concept of getting people in a game while a game is in progress, and that new person gets in, has this game clock in sync with the official game clock. So it's taking use of that feature in the Nomad for a new in-game scenario that you can have. And what Infector does is this. Let's say you have two teams, Team 1 and Team 2. And it's a typical team game. And let's say Team 1 has 8 players and Team 2 has 8 players. But let's bring in Team 3. And Team 3 only has maybe 1 or 2 players, something like that. But you also give a person on Team 3, in our example, this Infector. And we'll go in here. And what this will do is you could select what team do you want to infect to. So if I'm on Team 3 and my team is weak in numbers, I can say I want to infect people to Team 3. And I could change this. I could change this to 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, whatever I want. Okay, so I'm on Team 3. I want to infect people to Team 3. Okay, next, what is the delay? How long do I want the person using this to wait before he has the opportunity to infect someone else? When I say infect, what you're going to do is you're going to change someone from a one team ID to another team ID. And in this case, you can change someone from Team 1 or Team 2 to Team 3. And so in this case, we'll have a 10-second delay. You can change this all the way down from 3 seconds up to 60 seconds where a person has to wait in between. And you'll see what that means in a moment here. So right now there's a 10-second delay, and then when I go to Start Remote, we're now in Infector mode. And now we have to wait a few seconds before this is ready. So now we're ready. So I'm on Team 3. My team has low in numbers. So what I have to do is I go on the prowl and I find someone. If I can get close enough to them, I press the button. And what it's doing, it said resetting player. What's the resetting doing is it's sending out the end game signal. It sends out the end game signal. So if you got in close enough and you were able to end his game, he is now dead. He can't do anything else. So he now has to, what you do is you tell him to turn off your gun, turn it back on, and now you can, and what you're doing is you're essentially hosting a new game to Team 3. So now let's say this gun got out because of this had sent the end game signal, so this guy got out. So you tell him, okay, turn your gun off and then back on, and now go to join. Okay, go to join. And so now okay, so he's now Team 3 as a result of this. And this countdown is now going to be in sync with the game clock. And so now you just infected somebody from Team 1 or Team 2 over to Team 3.
Good luck.
And so we're in, so now you can see how this is now recycling back. 4, 3, 2, 1. So that you're making him wait. You can't infect someone immediately. You have to wait now. Okay? And so now this is locked. The person using this cannot get out of here and change modes or change settings or anything like that. Okay, so that's the Infector. People using the Infector will probably need to be trained a little bit on exactly how to use it, because there are some additional instructions that you have to give them. Probably even demonstrate, maybe someone go with them so that they can learn how to do the act. Because basically what you're doing is you're re-hosting someone back into the game. And so you're giving someone with this the power to do that, but you're infecting them to their team. So that's how Infector works. So that's a Nomad. That's what we have here. You can customize great laser tag games, LTTO games. You can customize any player, give any player any number of stats you want, get them in the games. You can sync players up into games in progress. You can have up to 24 games going at once. You get all sorts of features as well. But, you know, there's one more thing I put in here that I think is going to you'll really find interesting. And that is mode. Right now it's on LTTO mode. If I turn the dial here, LTAR only. And what this is, this opens up settings. If everybody is on an LTAR, this gives you some additional settings for your games that you can play on LTARs. And I'll go over that right now. So if you go to LTAR only mode, press to the right, and your settings are pretty much the same. It looks the same here. This is all the same. There's nothing different. Except here, supply remote. Now instead of adding heals, when it receives that special signal, the same respawn signal to respawn or to heal, you can now tell the gun, well, instead of adding heals, I want to add ammo. Or I want it to add shields. You could turn one of these on or all of them. It's up to you on what you want to do. If I turn them all on, anytime they get that special signal, they will get heals, ammo, and shields at the rate of 1 every 5 seconds. So that's why it's called supply remote, because it does more than just heals people. It can supply them with a wide range of things. If you're doing LTAR, you can do heals, ammo, or shields at whatever rate you want. And then if you go into, this is the current game and running, let's end it real quick. That was from the Hijack host game. So if we go into supply remote, it looks exactly the same. We're sending that signal. But if an LTAR gets it, it will then receive ammo, shields, health, whatever I tell it to. Okay. Now there's other settings that we can do. Before, when I hit to the right on the screen, it would take me to my main screen. But now I get some additional settings for the LTAR. And yes, you can change the beacons on the NOMAD. Right now the beacons are on and they're set to LTAR mode. If I turn the rotary dial, they're off. So if you want to play a game and you're all LTARs, you can turn the beacons off with this setting here. Now you cannot mix this setting with an LTTO setting. It won't work. This is only for all LTAR games. So you can turn it from beacons at LTAR mode off, or LTTO mode. You can turn beacons to LTTO mode. Now I'm not entirely sure why you'd want beacons to LTTO mode. It is an option, so I went ahead and put it in here. Even though this will not join in LTTO games, you can have beacons in LTTO mode. So that is an option. But there we go. You can turn that off. Hit report is when you land a hit on somebody, you basically get a feedback back to your gun, the person firing the shot, whether it was a hit or not. If you want to turn that off, you can do so. So whichever person is getting this game definition, he is not going to send a hit report back to this person. So this person is extra stealthy. Not only does he have beacons off, but his hit reports is off too. So you won't know if somebody's getting hit or not if you in this setting right now. So you can turn beacons on and hit reports off if you want to. And one other thing about beacons, beacons is what gives that sound like warning, warning, or danger, and makes all those noises. So if you turn beacons off, that will turn it off for LTAR only games. Shield. Well, in shield, there are two ways to turn the shield on in some guns. On the LTTO, the older LTTO guns, when you tap the shield button, it will go on. For example, here, let me show here. If you tap it, it's on. Or an LTX gear, if you were to press and hold it, it will be on.
Good luck. Team 2.
So here is an LTTO gun. So if I press this button, shields are on, shields are off. So when I tap it, it's on. Tap it again, it changes the state. Okay, that's how LTTO guns work. However, LTX guns, if I press this, if I tap it, oh, if I press this button, as soon as I let go, it goes off. So it's only on when you hold it. So if I come in here, on LTARs, you can have it choose which way you want it to be. Shield on tap or hold. Tap or hold. So you want to tap to have the shields on, or you want to have to hold the button to turn it on. So that's up to you. You can set whichever one you want. Okay, dead man timer. To be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure what this does. It's in the specs, something you could change. The default is 10 minutes. I think it's when you get out, how long does it wait? Or when you get a game definition, how long will it wait until it times out? I've tested it in both cases and I haven't really seen a change in this. So I'm not 100% sure what this does. Brian, I'm sure, can shed some light on that, but if you want to change that setting, it's there. Go over one more page, you get more settings. Auto reload. You can force a player to have auto reload on. So if you want someone to, in other words, when they're out of ammo, it will automatically reload the gun. Now, when auto reload is on, if auto reload is on, they cannot manually reload the gun. The only way to reload is through the automatic means. So if you want to force someone to have auto reload, you do that. I'm trying to get a clearer picture here. There we go. This looks better. Okay. I know this video is long. Thank you for staying as long as this. Okay, full auto, you can turn it off or allow. Off or allow. So the LTAR, if you press and hold the reload lever, it will turn to full auto. So you can allow someone to have full auto, or you can turn that off. So that's something that you can do. Start ammo is how much ammo do you want the player to have at the beginning. So you could have games where maybe they only start with one shot in their clip, and then come over here and be a real stinker and give them no clips. And they're only left with one shot or 10 shots or whatever you want. And the only way that they can get ammo then is with, you guessed it, this, add ammo. Make sure that's on. And so if somebody has this box, they can get resupplied with ammo. So that'd make for a real interesting game. And I think that's it. Yeah, start ammo. So those are all the different LTAR settings, and that's all that the NOMAD can do. You might notice that one thing that the NOMAD cannot do is to debrief. And there's a couple reasons why it won't debrief, and that is because I don't have, first of all, I don't have room left in the NOMAD in the memory. It's pretty full, and it's kind of complicated, and it takes a lot of memory space to calculate all the scores and things like that. Plus, when you go and do all these fancy things that I've been doing here with the quick host, getting players in the middle of a game, or changing players' attributes and things like that, I'm really breaking the rules of what it was designed to do with the Lazer Tag gear. And so when you do that, debriefing does not become reliable. So I've taken it out for that reason as well. There's a lot of other gear that does do debriefing well. The LTTO, the LTHQ, the Laser Swarm, they all do debriefing really well. Plus I have just a real tiny screen. It'd be really hard to get all the debriefing information here. So for all those reasons, it doesn't do debriefing. If you really want debriefing, I suggest you use LTTO, LTHQ, or the Laser Swarm. They do debriefing really well. But this is mainly used to really customize your game in ways that you can't with any other gear. And you can make for some really unique game types as well. So that's a basic overview of the NOMAD Mark II. I'm still fine-tuning some things in it, the software, getting things honed down and getting the rough edges kind of fixed and sanded off and stuff like that. I don't have an ETA or a price yet on what this is going to be. I just am mainly focusing on the software. This will be at TagFest this year, so if you go to TagFest in Eugene, you will see this in person there, and we hopefully will be able to play some games with it as well. So that's it. If you have any questions, post some comments here on my blog site at lt-mmo.blogspot.com. I'd love to hear them. If you have any thoughts or comments on features that you'd like to see or questions about how everything works, let me know and I'll do my best to answer them. I'm pretty busy, but we'll see how it goes. So thanks for sticking around. It's a long video, but the NOMAD does a lot of amazing things, and I'm really super excited about it, and I hope you are too. Great. Thank you. Bye-bye.